our country, that governor is going to be making an income that's about 74 times what the average citizen in that county is making. And these numbers can be bad when you focus on a particular country. I'm just giving you the number, the average, right? If you go to a place like Mandera and you look at the income the governor there is making relative to the income of the average citizen, it's about 170 times, right? You look at an MCA. In our country, on average, the MCA is making about 16 times what the average citizen is making. These numbers tell you one thing, which is our government today exists to facilitate the fancy lifestyles of these people. As someone who's lived, out of Kenya many years, I have seen what a government looks like when it's designed with the central focus of serving citizens. When I take my son to a school here in Texas, I don't, I have never even tried to figure out how much of the money is spent on salaries for these people because I can see the results. They are right there in front of you, right? Our problem that we have in Kenya is that when you look at what the government is doing, you consider how much money you're paying in taxes. You don't see anything of value that you're getting as a citizen, right? You go to a county hospital, and oftentimes you have to share a bed with a stranger. There is no equipment. There are no doctors here to serve you. There is no medication, right? You go to a school and you can see the quality of schools that we have. Then you look at our politicians with all these incomes that I just told you about, and their kids go to Braeburn, they go to Rusinga schools. None of them send their kids to our public institutions. Why is that? Because they know that there is nothing to be expected in terms of quality services from those places. So these issues, how do we solve them, right? Um, I think the thing that we also need to understand is that we are also contributors to this situation. We keep electing the same people over and over and over again. We are not holding ourselves accountable. The first thing that we need to do as citizens is to demand a new relationship between our government and us. The culture of entitlement that our politicians have, where they feel it's okay for an MP to make an income that is 93 times what the average citizen makes. That's a culture of an entitlement, right? So that needs to be broken, immediately. We need to demand that people if you're going to serve us, you're coming to serve people. You're not coming so we can serve you. So we need to demand a totally different relationship between us and the government. Our country, we love to talk about our constitution. I heard someone talking about, the right to education, the right to healthcare. None of those rights in the constitution mean a damn thing when the resources to make it available are not there, right? So if you have a son and he's sick and you take him to a county hospital, sure, the constitution says he should have access to healthcare, but if there's no doctor there, if there's no equipment, if he's having to go and share a bed with a stranger who has pneumonia, that right doesn't mean a damn thing. The same is true when it comes to education. We are not investing on our young people, and the pain of this, as much as we think right now things are bad, it's going to be worse 10, 15 years from now. Why am I saying that? So you've heard me talk about the debt that we have as a country, 11 trillion and growing. We're adding another 2 trillion this year. We are spending 70% of every single shilling we get to service interest alone. Again, with this year, we're going to add another 2 trillion. So by the time you're talking, a time like this next year, we'll owe almost 14 trillion. So this year we spend 70% of the money on interest. How much of it, uh, how much of the remainder can we actually spend on serving citizens or educating people? If you're spending, just think about this in your own family. If you have 100,000 in income, but 70% is already spoken for because you need to pay interest, you will not be able to invest in your kids' schools. I mean, education. You're not going to have a choice to take them here versus there. And so the situation is actually worse. The future situation is going to be worse. So crime is going to go up, corruption is going to go up, and the general welfare of the country is going to be bad. Far much worse 10 years from now, as relative to today, right? So the situation gets worse. So to break this situation, we need to demand a new relation between us and government today. The people that we're electing into office need to see governments differently, right? We cannot continue electing people that see government as their free ticket to become a billionaire, a free ticket to state resources, state largesse, right? So we need to demand a totally new relationship. Elect people that are coming there to serve you. We need to reduce compensation, frankly, for these politicians. We need to reduce how much money these politicians can spend on things like travel, right? Things that are not going to serve citizens. Of course, we need to get rid of corruption. But at the end of the day, the relationship between us and the government is what needs to change. And then we can look at all these other things. Once we change that, we bring in people that are not entitled to our resources. We bring in people that are not wasteful. We bring in people that are not thieves. Things are going to start changing. Thank you.
Thank you, Boniface Mwangi. I'll still cycle back to you. Let's hear from Malia, and we have some few lady voices. And as I bring Malia, how do we reconcile a government that cuts secondary education? This is for Malia and Ronyo and Ras as they come in. My question would be: How does the government reconcile a cut of secondary school capitation from 22,000 to 17,000 for secondary student, and 1,420, I think, to 1,170 that are less than for primary education? That is what is less than is spent daily on tea and snacks in parliament. While at the same time, the state has increased state house spending from 4.2 billion to 11.7 billion. That is almost 176%. Spending 2 billions to renovate presidential lodges, while children in Baringo and Tana River learn under trees. Pump more than 100 million weekly into a hustler fund that lacks transparency and accountability. They allocate, as you said, 1.2 billion to build a state-funded church on a public land, while 2.5 million children are out of school, according to UNESCO report of 2024. And it's endless. And these MPs want their allowances increased to from it's around almost to 5.3 billion. Does this not expose a regime that has abandoned education and service delivery in favor of personal privilege and political propaganda? Where is the moral compass and public accountability in such government? Over to you, Malia, and then we go to Ronyo and Rasji. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abdi. I greet my fellow Kenyans. Good evening. Um, thank you, Hilary and Abdi, for hosting us. Well, Abdi, what I can tell you is that basically we don't have a government. What we have is a cabal of elitists who feel that being in government is a gravy train. So today it's your turn to eat, tomorrow it's my turn. That is all what it is. It's simply that. And that's why you could hear Ruto saying that you people, you didn't give Kibaki hard time, you didn't give Uhuru a hard time, and now it's my turn to eat. Why are you giving me a hard time? Let me eat in peace. That is what he was trying to say. Hmm? So all these issues of school, secondary school capitation, primary school capitation, that is not the priority. The priority of why people entered into the office is to eat. So that is their number one priority. These other issues of whether you'll get the capitation, you won't get the capitation, the SHA is working, it's not working. Every single problem that you see Kenyans going through, they are less bothered. They're just thinking about being in the gravy train. And that's why even Raila entered into the government, or he was conjoined into the government, because it's an eating, and from there you cannot hear him being vocal about what is going wrong in this country. He has abandoned, because he has joined that adage that if you cannot beat them, just join them. So if you cannot get in the government to eat, why don't you join the person who is sitting in the office to eat? And from there on, you just keep quiet and let those people who are paying taxes to enable you to be on this gravy train to go to hell. That is just how simple it is. It's not about morality, it's not about anything. It's just about greed. That all this, in fact, it is just that they may not be able to deduct some money from some areas to be able to divert that money to themselves. Otherwise, they could have even deducted the whole budget and give it to themselves, hand it to themselves through all these fictitious accounts and fictitious activities that they always keep on bringing here of decorating the state house and all the renovating state house and all these other many things which make no sense. And that's why you can see a school which is even non-existent can be able, funds are being channeled to schools which are non-existent. Then they go back to the accounts of those people who are in government. That's why you can hear police DIG can afford a house of $2 million in the US. I mean, in Dubai. That's why you can see. But you see the problem with this. Another problem which many people don't tend to see about the kind of lawlessness that we are in is that it then makes people not to follow the rule of law, because you are like, I'm following the rule of law for what? The president doesn't follow the rule of law. The people who are the highest ranking and most, have the most money in the country, they don't follow the rule of law. So why the hell then should I be following the rule of law myself? You see, like in the course of this, I think last week and the previous week, there is a lady who was murdered inside a mental hospital. The other day, it was a man who killed somebody in KN, who has been killing some few people in KNH. On checking on the man's details, it's like he's not even in the registry of persons. And this is somebody who has been in the hospital since January to around July. So for 7 months, you have been having somebody admitted in the hospital who you don't even know his identity, whether he's a Kenyan or not. You don't know anything about his identity. So when I say this country has now become a failed state, and therefore the people who want to go rogue, like the ones who killed the lady in the hospital, they can do it, because the country is lawless. There is no, if at all, the people who are the custodians of the law, the people who are supposed to be enforcing the law, the police, they can kill somebody in a police station, and not a police station in Bundus, the main police. I think Central is the main police station. So how will you tell somebody that you don't, because they know that you do all these bad things are happening and people get away with it? Because you'd ask yourself, who in their right mind would go and strangle somebody in a hospital? It's because a person was taken to a cell and they were killed. So the person will then reason that one way or another, I can get away with it. After all, didn't the DIG get away with it after sending somebody to go and kill that young man who was writing about him? May his soul rest in peace. So I can also send my wife to an institution and send somebody to kill her there, or collaborate with somebody who's there to kill her, because I know I can get away with it. This is a country whereby the government has become a criminal protection agency. If you have any problem with the law, if you are not paying taxes, if you have killed somebody, enda tu ingia kwa, even people who have been convicted, you can go and join with the president with the president and tell him,
Okay, I think Mali, are you still there?
yes, you become a politician.
Okay.
You become a politician. Then you are like what this Keroke lady did. You go and become a senator, and then after you become a senator, you now join with the ruling, with the government of the day. Then your KRA wipes out your nene, your what you are owing them. So this is not a country which has a government. What we have is a cabal of people who have decided to come together to do criminal activities, to loot from the country, to eat the taxes that the Kenyans are paying mercilessly, to borrow to enrich themselves so that in future Kenyans will be in heavy debt. Those are the kind of people that we're having on the seat. And this now has gone into a spiral effect whereby everyone does what they want, because that getting out is very easy. If somebody can be convicted and then they go and sweet talk there, the president or whoever, and then they are let out, what kind of a country is that? Even in the president of the US, I understand his sister was deported or something, like his auntie or something. There's nothing you could do about it, because that's a country which follows the rule of law. But in Kenya here, when you're a criminal, the first thing you want to do, you want to get in the government so that you can be able to protect yourself from litigation. So that is the issue, Abdi. It's the character of the people who are in the offices. That is all what it is. Because if we had somebody clear thinking, like the moment when Nani came in, Kibaki entered in the office, he brought some order into the country. But now, since the person who is there is bringing disorder and disorganization and chaos, then it is having a ripple effect all over, whereby everyone is just like, we don't have a government, so I can do whatever the hell I want. And I can get away with it because I also know the police is compromised. I can pay my way. The judiciary is I can pay my way. I can kill you today and I'll know how to manipulate the system and get away with it. So it's very unfortunate, but I hope this will teach us as Kenyans, when we are thinking in the future of picking a leader, how important the person who is in the office is. Because the fish starts rotting from the head. The citizens cannot be able to follow the law if they are seeing the people who are in the office, whether it's the custodians of the law, the enforcers, the police, the GSU, the DCI, the NIS, whatever, running amok. They will not. So it's upon us to remove this cabal of thugs which have entered the office. They have hijacked our country. We are now being held hostage by people who don't give a damn, who are telling police to shoot people in the legs and those kind of things you can never hear from a sane leader. It's very unfortunate, but we have to, our only hope, by the way, is removing these people. And the next time when we are putting other people, let's put credible people. Let's not put people who have been accused of crimes against humanity and other many evils, grabbing and the like, because that's all what they'll give us. And the moment the corruption starts, then it goes down to the lower, up to the bottom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mali. I think you raised a valid point. What we are seeing is a government whose priority number one isn't education, as you said, is to eat, to loot, corruption, impunity, spillage, every sector. Capitation cuts, classrooms are crumbling, but billions are flowing into state house luxuries and ghost projects. This isn't just mismanagement. I believe it's a betrayal, and Kenyans are paying the price with their children's future. How can a nation rise when its leaders invest in opulence? Having said that, as I bring in Ronyo before Dr. Milton gives his opening remarks, also as a pressure point team, Ronyo, what is your thought on this? Because over to you.
Thank you so much, Abdi and Hillary. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you so much. Abdi, there's nothing that happens in Kenya by accident. Everything that is happening, these people always plan in advance. So even the statement that the Minister of Finance came and said, it is not by coincidence. These people do everything and it's well pre-planned, and they know that we are going to say this, and then after that there will be others. So to try and measure or try to see on what will be the effect of whatever we are going to implement, because it is evidence that these people are directing funds to different things that are not even planned, that are not in the budget. You see them going all over the country, that they are doing a development whatever, and empowerment programs and all that. But that money, where does it come from? It has, of course, to come from somewhere. Something that has been planned, probably in education, probably in any other sector. But so running those institutions becomes hard. But you ask yourself the reason as to why they are doing whatever they are doing. It's because we have all the people that we have in the government. They are cartels. In Kenya, it is so hard to run for an office because they have structured in a way that if you don't have money, you can't run for any office. And if you happen to come by accident, two or three people who are elected without enough capital or enough resources backing them, they'll be corrupted, because you find these people who have been recycled for centuries, and they have stolen, they have grabbed, they have a lot of resources, and the kind of lifestyle they are living, they push you into being into joining their corrupt cartel group and all that, so that they can be able to control. control you. You see, the reason as to why we have a failed parliament, it is because most of these people are doing business with government. So they can't afford to go against the government, because some of their projects and all their money that they are getting is coming from the government. You look at somebody like the CS Kabogo. Before he was appointed, a few months ago, before he was appointed to the CS, he was saying, "Oh, someone powerful from the government is trying to grab my land, and that is worth 700 million." And he was trying to ask for help, and he was asked, "When did you buy this land?" He came and said that he said that in the media. So these people don't go to those offices because they care about people, or they have that calling to serve people, or they have the interest of people at heart. It is to safeguard and to build their empire. So at whatever cost, they will have to safeguard that. They don't care about people. They don't care, because you look at, if I'm the CEO of the company and I'm embezzling cash and directing them to buying my own, servicing my life, or probably buying jets here, buying a land or somewhere else, what will the other people do in the those who are probably below me? They'll be doing the same thing. If the head of the government is doing is grabbing land from there, grabbing another thing there, so what will the other do? They will do the same thing. So the kind of government that we have, we are to blame, and we cannot have a serious government that cares about people, or serious leaders who cares about people, unless we are going to drain the swamp. All of these people have to go. Or from the MCA up to the president, all of them have to go, because they are all corrupted. They are, you can't pinpoint one leader, either the MC or governor or MP, whoever. You can't pinpoint one of them who is not having a deal with the government. And that's why they cannot legislate. They cannot say anything. Even if you guys are pushing them, go and say this or do something for the people. They cannot. They don't have the courage. You say something against the government, they will come for the project that you have, probably the road they have given you, or to supply eggs somewhere, or to supply mandasi in the offices, and maybe or they supply pencils, and you'll be selling one pencil at 10,000 for. So these people, they're all corrupted, and they are all in one agreement that they are serving their own interest. No one of them that is going to serve the people. So the failed institution, like the education, the health, the insecurity in the country, is not by accident, it's by design. You look at right now, even if you hear parents who have kids in the university, they will tell you that some of them are being forced to take their kids in private universities, because they're cheaper than public universities, because these people are trying to bring down the public institution, because they have interest in the education. More university is gone. And beside there, you find I think in one of these, I don't know if it is Wasungishu or where, you find somebody was building a very huge university. So they are doing this by design, because they are trying to build their empire. So unless we are going to drain the swamp, we'll be having this problem. We'll be singing this song each and every other time. Thank you, Abdi.
Thank you, Ronyo. I think that's right. As I bring in Dr. Milton, Russ is a bit busy with something. I want to paint a picture for you, Dr. Milton, what this means to us. You meet Aisha, a class 8.
Tucoke twire borithi tondu ni kuhuthirwo marahuthirwo ni andu aria me thirikari mamenye no makari mundu uria urathire mwanake umuthi igoti-ini na gutire mundu urathie kumu uguo na aria tuma nao na ni ngumera acio moima kigu aria maguturathukagiriria rithiathi twina video ciothe ni tukumoyaga kinya na kamera uguo maikarage makimenyaga uyu ni thiri makariha whether ni miaka 2 kana ni miaka 10 kana ni miaka 20 ni thiri makariha tondu uguo mareka ti kihoto. Ithuĩ tutikwaragia na mundu, ithuĩ tutiguthiĩte kwa mundu, na ithuĩ tutiuma twina rutha rwa guthii kuria twagĩrĩire guthii tondu ithuĩ turi arũgamĩrĩri a mũingĩ. Niĩ nĩ ndũgamĩrĩire gĩcigo gĩa Kĩgumo na ndingĩrwo nĩ mũthigari ona ũmwe atĩ nĩ ndĩmũhoyaga rutha kana ngathiĩ gwĩtia rutha nĩgetha thiĩ Kĩgumo ngarie na andũ. Andũ arĩa magurarĩte tũtimenyete wega nĩrona ndereba wa Mheshimiwa Victor Munyaka ũrĩa warĩ kũrĩa MP wa Machakos Town nĩ muona ũrĩa agurarĩtio nĩ aingĩ na nĩkĩo tũrenda kũmenya nĩ igana tondũ ithuothe tũtirĩ haha matuobanĩria andũ othe nĩ kũra morire na amwe tũtinamenya kũrĩa mathire no nĩ tũkũmenya.
Okay. My name is Victor Munyaka, Mheshimiwa, from Machakos Town. I want to say today we went to attend the church service at IPCA somewhere in Muranga at the invitation of the area member of parliament and the church and myself, including Wakili Ndengwa and the Senator Wabua Keo, had a message from Honorable Stephen Kalonzo, who you all know that is in Europe, is in the UK. And so he told us to go for that church service because if he was around Kenya, he would be there present. I also understand that the GG had also sent Honorable Mevi and all the principals had sent representatives to that church because it's a church event which was planned long time ago. So myself, I came faithfully for that worship and the deacon actually blessed us with oil. And everybody felt it was a good day. As we were coming out, the church is somewhere downhill. So as we were joining the main road, coming from the church, we were ambushed by the police. Without our awareness, they started eating our cars. One particular police officer had a very big stone, and they eat my Range Rover, the windscreen, so even the driver could not be able to see. But I want to thank God and my driver because the swift action actually saved us because he swerved and went downwards. Otherwise, during that particular moment, 3 bullets passed through the body of my car and I was particularly the target and I believe it was an attempted assassination. I don't know what I did to President Ruto because I helped him go to be president, and now that I'm with the Kalonzo and the Rigiji and the opposition, I don't know why he wants to eliminate me, because it was clear attempt on my life. They followed me because the car could not go fast because of the windscreen. So where they caught up with us, they hit us so much with the balloons, and also destroyed, also damaged the head of my driver. He actually he had to go to the hospital to seek treatment. I want to say these are not good because, of course, I'm a leader for a long period of time. I know how goons are and I know how police are. Those who are serious police, all of them with pistols. Goons don't have pistols. So those are just police on a civilian uniform, such that they want to hide their identity, and all of them were masked. So I want to say Kenya, we are in for a rough time, because if this is the way we are going to do our politics, I have served under Kibaki, I have served under Uhuru Kenyatta, I have also served under Moi. This terror I've never seen. President Ruto is calling our children terrorists, but actually his system is the one which is terror, causing terror towards leaders and the GenZs. Thank you very much. No, he has a deep cut at the head. He needs to go and have it sutured. He's actually here. You can see he bled so much. We had to take him somewhere for first aid, but he lost a lot of blood. And we were just found innocently alongside the car, trying to check the damages which they have caused. We were very innocent. Nobody had any political motive at that particular moment, but they attacked us. Yeah.
So I really don't think I need to repeat what has been said by my colleagues. All we want to say is that the reign of terror visited Murang'a County today. But I want to say that it was not unexpected, because we had been warned by one leader that Kangari especially was a no-go zone, and that we know, the leader said, you know me, We have those messages. We have taken screenshots. And the saddest thing is that the security agencies are being commanded by a particular leader in Murang'a County who has a lot of power. And I'm told it's because of their very close links with the Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki. We just want to say that even though William Ruto has not kept any of the promises that he made to the people, that he should not become that insecure. The market place was closed to members of the public. The mama mbogas that he went lying to, that he would uplift, were not allowed to do their businesses in Gonda today. They were tear gassed just because we were in charge, and William Ruto feels very insecure. But we want to say that even if you have not kept any promise, William Ruto, even if now you want to take away free education from Kenyans, even if you do not want to give us freedom, but please don't kill us. Honorable Munyaka today escaped death by a whisker. Please don't kill us. You can take away anything that we promised. You can take away our roads. You can take away our free education. You can even prevent us from demonstrating. But please don't kill us. Please don't kill us. Please don't allow security apparatus to be controlled by politicians, because politicians may not know how to operate. Let the mama mbogas of Gonda, of Gacharage, of Kandara, of Kangari do their businesses. The small businesses they do, you do not have to tear gas them. So we are saying it's a sad day, and I think we want to call on the International Criminal Court to come and carrying out investigations, because our security agencies cannot be able to help us. They have been taken captive by William Ruto, Honorable Kindiki, the Deputy President. Nobody doesn't know what Murkomen has said, and the ICC should note that we have no control over the police. DIG Lagat, after what he was accused of, he's back to work. So we can only call upon the international community to come to our aid. Otherwise, William Ruto is determined to kill all of us. So we tell our people, we want to tell William Ruto that we will not be cowed. We will not accept to be intimidated. We will carry on with the noble task of saying that he must go, because if William Ruto comes back, there will be no country called Kenya. As to how he goes home, it is up to him. He could choose to hang himself. He could choose to resign. And if Raila Amolo Odinga loves this country, he should just leave William Ruto so that all Kenyans can unite in parliament and impeach William Ruto, because there will be no country here in the next 2 years if what we have seen today continues obtaining. So we want to stop it at that, and we must assure him we will continue supporting Rigiji, we will continue supporting Kalonzo Musyoka, we will continue supporting Fred Matiang'i, George Natembea, Eugene Wamalwa, and William Ruto will go home regardless of how many people he is going to kill. Gwenda kuga umuthi gutie mundu tano na ngero ria twagirwo yagirwo kuria Goda. Mheshimiwa Munyaka wa kuria Machakos, ngari yake yahurwo rithathi na yahura ngũici icio, na nĩ borithi makũrutaga wĩra ũcio tũkĩmonaga na twĩna video na mbica. No thĩna ũrĩa twĩnaguo nĩ atĩ Mũrang'a kũrĩ mũteti ũmwe ũrĩa wathaga borithi na nĩaratwĩrĩte ira atĩ gũtigĩ gwĩkwo mĩcemanio Kangarĩ, na agatwĩra nĩtũmũĩ nĩtũkũmũmenya. Hihi no twakĩmũmenya no twĩre William Ruto na Kithure Kindiki, tondũ mũteti ũcio kũratuĩka nĩ makuhanĩrĩirie mũno na Kithure Kindiki, tũtiũĩ ndũgũ yao ĩhana atĩa, no tũmere mareke ithuĩ twĩikarĩre gĩthomo gĩa tũhũ kĩrĩa Mwai wa Kĩbakĩ atigire tũthondekera, Uhuru wa Kenyatta agĩũka agĩtwarithia na mbere, William Ruto nĩ araigire nĩ ekweheria. tondu gutire na mbeca no mbeca cia empowerment ya limo ya kuneaga atumia 31,200 iyo mbeca menacio mbeca gukua makunia cia gukombora helicopter icio menacio no ciana itigũthomithio na twauga ũguo nĩ baba njũru marahũra kinya ngari citũ rithathi no tũmere oya gĩthomo gĩa tũhũ eria kĩrĩa gĩothe ũkwenda kweheria ona bara citũ ciatembũka nĩ itembũkange no William Ruto reke tũtũre muoyo tondu muoyo nĩ Ngai watũheire na ũragĩtũkorire orokire 2022 gũtirĩ mwana ũragĩciarire wagĩũka 2022 rĩu tũkwĩre we na waganu waku Ngai no araũrora no twĩte igoti rĩa kĩmataifa ICC rĩrĩa rĩacirithagia mũthuri ũcio wĩtagwo William Ruto nĩ ũndũ wa njũragano rĩũke rĩu rĩtũteithie tondu akorwo rĩu thigari citũ irathwo nĩ ateti ithuĩ nĩ tũgũgĩthira no Ngai ũngĩtũteithia na igoti rĩu rĩũke matuĩrie mone ũrĩa kũrathiĩ tondu William Ruto abataire gũtwarwo igoti-inĩ rĩu at the earliest possible opportunity ucio nĩ mũndũ abataire gũtũra njera tondu nĩ nyamũ ya gĩthaka-inĩ. Asanteni sana.
Maybe I would use very few words. What we've seen today and what has happened to our team today is honestly an attempt on assassination of the members of this team, members of the opposition. The kind of force that has been used by the National Police Service is not only excess but extreme. The kind of damage that has happened on the vehicles that we are using today has never been seen. I've been in this politics and since we were impeached on the October of 2024, I've been moving around. Even last week on Sunday, we were being tear gassed by police. But the kind of force that has been used on us today at a place called Gonda is something that we have never seen. I don't know, and I would want anybody to explain to me why and how a policeman would shoot a live bullet at anybody at close range. Because we've seen, and you can see live bullet holes on the vehicles of the members of our team who are here. I've just been told because once the skirmishes started and I went to engage the police because I was there, I went and I was asking them, you are telling us as we cannot use this route. These are the route that you are showing us. Where does it lead us? And true to my instincts, we were being laid to a trap. Because where Munyaka has been attacked in Gashosho is a place that another contingent of police and goons were waiting for us on the road. So the police at the Gonda Center were pushing us further down the road where we were being attacked by goons and policemen in uniform. In fact, one of the vehicles, or most of the vehicles that have been damaged, specifically this Range Rover owned by Honorable Munyaka, has been damaged by a policeman in uniform. The videos are there. And we want to condemn. And the National Police Service has always claimed that it is independent. If indeed you are independent, why are you taking orders from the countywoman member of parliament from Ranga? Because she's the one that told us that we can't go to Kangari. She in fact said that what we did in Embu, we can't do it in Muranga. Everybody has a freedom of choice. We have a choice and freedom to associate with whoever we associate ourselves with. And that freedom is fundamental, it is in our constitution. We also have a right to dissociate ourselves with anybody we feel we don't want to associate with. We have dissociated ourselves 100% with President William Ruto. Nothing, absolutely nothing, will take us back to William Ruto. And let me tell you, William Ruto, so long as a bullet has not gone through the members of this team that you are seeing here, we will still be there telling our people to chase you home. Because you are the worst accident that ever happened to this country. Electing you was a tragedy of monumental magnitude. We are the one that elected you, and we are the one that will send you home. We just want to ask the National Police Service, if indeed you are meant to protect lives and property, why are you destroying properties? Why are you shooting live ammunition to innocent people who are peaceful? We even pleaded with the person who was commanding that team. If it is a meeting you don't want us to do, then allow us to go home. We are just from a church. If you don't want us to do a meeting, then allow us to go home. When I told them to allow us to go home, they started tear gassing. And they were tear gassing specific people. I thank the people of Muranga who actually helped us. They helped me escape. And our private security, they helped me escape because I was a major target. And I want to thank the people because even the places that we've used private roads along to get to Thika, and we thank God that all of us are safe. But we want to tell William Ruto, these tools the tools of terror that you are using, they will be for a short while. Even these policemen that you are using, they also get tired. They are the hardest hit by your reign on their payslips. So after a short while, all of us will be united. All of us will be united to send you home, including the police. They are our brothers, including the people from every part of this republic. They are our brothers. Finally, we want to ask our people, if the members of parliament from this region, if you see a member of parliament from this region being used by William Ruto to harass and beat those of us who are speaking for you, you know what to do with that member of parliament. You are the one that elected. You are the one that elected and donated the power that they are misusing. You have the opportunity to take back that power that you have donated to that person. Mwisho, William Ruto, upende, usipende, when one time.
Yeah, 1 minute just to add on what has happened after the incidents is that we have reported to the police through OB03 27 07 25, and we made this report at 16 hours at a place called Gashosho police post. We have made our report, and the purpose of making this report is to see to it whether or not the police, as indicated, will independently investigate over this issue. Unfortunately, the persons who have assaulted us, the persons who have damaged our properties, the persons who have injured our staffs are the police. And that is why a call for action is being initiated through this presser by independent organs separate from the state, that is non-state actors, the human rights organizations, the international human rights protectors. Where we are, if you do not come and step in and save the Kenyan constitution, the Kenyan people, and the Kenyan democracy, we are at the brink of having this country plug into a situation where we may not get back to where we are. It is only fortunate that we were able to rain upon our supporters. They were ready to take on the police, and you just have to understand what would have accrued or resulted from such kind of an engagement. I am not sure whether next time when they do such kind of assault damages, whether we shall be able to rain upon our supporters. They are pushing us to a situation of no return. We are giving them 24 hours, 7 days to initiate investigations. Why use live bullets on us? Mheshimiwa Jamrick Kamau will be addressing you very soon, shortly. His car has equally suffered live bullet targets. And what we want to tell the police is that we have recovered those bullets. We have them. They are in our custody. We have given them to our safe housekeeping for onward usage. So if you want to know who discharged that bullet, we have it, but we cannot trust you on it. We'll be holding a meeting, our legal team that is led by Honorable Member for Gatanga, Member Edward Mureu. We'll be having a meeting tomorrow to write a report to the IPOA on this assault. We are not saying we shall deliver these live bullets to the IPOA because we too do not trust them. But we shall use these bullets as evidence to ensure that justice is done either today, tomorrow, or even after William Ruto is out of office. Justice will prevail at a particular point. Hiyo damu ambayo imemwagika siku ya leo haitamwagika kwa bure. We shall ensure that our legal team follows this to the letter. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. My name is Jamle Kamau. Today I'm one of the victims of serious police brutality. My car, as I was coming out of the church, was attacked, and it has 2 bullets holes, one on both sides. And I can clearly say, and with a lot of confidence, that they were actually not targeting my legs, as they were ordered. They were actually targeting my head, not legs. Because where the bullet is actually not anywhere near the legs. It's actually on the side windshield, where somebody sits. The only thing that saved me was that my vehicle was in motion. And that's the reason why the bullet hit the lower part. I think you'll be talking about a different thing today. But I want to address William Ruto. William Ruto, I know you. You know me. We have worked together before. I was present when you, with your own mouth, said that never again in Kenya shall we shed blood on account of political competition. Now we are back to what you had said. This is blood being shed. If that bullet hit me, Your Excellency, William Ruto, what would you have told my children today? What would you have said? If I was away, if I went down today, William Ruto, is that your happiness, honestly? I think there comes a time when human life becomes more dignified than anything else in this world. It is time for us to sober up. And I want to ask all the investigative agencies, of course we don't trust them at all, but I want to concur with my colleagues that however long it takes, 2 years, 5 years, these people must be brought to account. And what is more even worse is the fact that this operation was actually led by a bodyguard of one of the members of parliament in Murang'a County. Bodyguard, he's the one who shot my car twice. The video is there. It is absolutely absurd, unacceptable. And if William thinks that he's going to actually cow us down, if anything, he's putting a lot of energy in us. Not only in us, even in our followers. The question is, William, what has Mount Kenya done to you? The votes that made you president are the same people you are now troubling on. I pity some women, very old women, who were shoved aside and thrown to the tea plantations by your officers. These people voted for you, William. And this is what you are giving them in return. History, Mr. President, would judge you extremely harshly on some of these things that you are doing. Thank you very much. Okay, Naiko. Thank you, Makiri.
What I've been saying since last year, I say that let us not expect election. What we need now is revolution. But if we can, have a way that we have a transitional government, William Ruto should step aside. And he should stop gaslighting people and saying that, it is by the constitution that only election that can remove him from office. It is not election, it is the people. And people can make decisions anytime they wish. You cannot tell me that we are not robots, that we are programmed, that everything has to be because it is written somewhere. No, we are human beings. We change our minds, and with our collective voices, we make decisions. So if Kenyans are saying that, even I remember the time the British were in the European Union, and they decided that no. Of course, there were some agreements, but the British people said no, we don't want to be there, and they forced the Prime Minister to go and withdraw. And Cameron honorably came and withdrew from they exited, and he honorably stepped aside because he saw that he cannot align himself with the people. What happened to Cameron? Even he not come down. He's still alive. He's still respected. Nothing happened to him. So why would Ruto think that when people say that your thoughts are not aligned with us, whether you think that you are too wise for this country, but it is not helping us? So if people decided that they want change now, there's no reason for us to wait. So I think we need now to start this narrative, and we push that we need a transitional government. Forget about the election. The transitional government now will be shaped to be able to streamline every sector that has been managed, including even the electoral body, so that now we can be able in future to have a body, electoral body that is trusted by Kenyans. Now, as I learned, Abdi, you saw what happened. William Ruto tried to, infiltrate everywhere, even these politicians, even some of our fellow young people that now they say that they are offering themselves for leadership. They are infiltrated. You try to form a party, but later you find out that what you are pushing is different. Like what Dr. Milton is saying, everyone is infiltrated. Those political parties that were formed, I remember he was among the few that we formed a new generation alliance of young leaders to be able to drive, the political agenda in this country. It did not take us time before it was infiltrated, before you realize some people have already been compromised. They have already joined the tribal cocoons. It is not working. And we know this is the hand of William Ruto. It is in everywhere. Some of these politicians that you see, that even Dr. Milton were mentioning, and others that are hovering around, they are his agents. They just want to make sure that, they bring confusion to Kenyans. So 2027 that you are waiting, it will be in vain. What we need now is to push the narrative of how do we form a transitional government immediately, a caretaker government.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Abdi. Let me not take too much time. Thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that we continue with this agenda and we make sure that we push William Ruto before 2027. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your submission. I think, and it's good to be clear on the aspects about how to remove the president or any elected leader. I think I agree the situation is dire, but let's be clear: we don't do coups in democracy. The constitution is our shield and our sword. The moment we step outside its boundaries, we play into the hands of those who want us to label us as anarchists or as terrorists or as the enemy of the state. The power to remove a failed leadership exists through a lawful civic action, people-led organizing, elections, referendum, court petitions, peaceful protest. These are the levers of democracy. When we use them strategically, they become unstoppable. Our goal isn't to destroy the state, it's to reclaim it, reshape it, restore it to service of the people. Let's operate within the law, not just because it is legal, but because it's right, it's sustainable, and it keeps the moral grounds on our side high up. Thank you so much, Fabish, for your submission. I'll bring in Ras. Ras, are you there?
I'm still on the road, Abdi and Hillary. I think give some people, the people a chance. I think I'll come and speak when I'm ready. I'm still on the road.
Okay, thank you. East, who is East Synth? The mic is yours.
Yes, thank you, Abdi. Thank you so much for this opportunity. If I got the last speaker right, maybe I didn't hear everything that he said, but I don't think there is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I heard him mentioning anything to do with the coup. But there are so many options whereby we can, I mean, just like someone mentioned earlier, ni kama ukipatia mfanyikazi kazi, especially these people who cut grass in your place, who milk cows and stuff like that. Huwezi patia mtu kazi kwako, and then when you're not happy with their work, they now want to rule over you. We've seen even stories of workers who are killing the employees because they probably don't want to be fired. They want to take over your home after you've given them a job and they're not performing. So at the end of the day, as much as yes, yes, we do not want a failed state and all that, but we must start asking ourselves, if we employ you and we don't like your services anymore, you're not going to drag us for the next 5 years with bad performance and mediocrity, and murders and all these kind of things that we are seeing right now. And some of the things that I've observed myself and which I would want to bring to our memory and keep top of mind is that I don't know how it goes with the polling stations and where we are seeing there are some fake schools where that are being given capitation fees. And that thing is very dangerous, and I don't think we are speaking much about it, because these are quote unquote polling centers which are already being set up for rigging. And that is something that's why we are feeling like we are between a rock and a hard place, because you're asking, do we wait for 2027 so that we get fucked up a good one, whereby we know systems are already being put in place to rig, and then we go to these long side shows of Supreme Court, people carrying evidence in lorries, lawyers making money. Well, we can already see the hole we are getting into. So my point or my question to all of us is, if we are not happy with any of our employees that we put in place, be it MPs, be it MCAs, be it women reps, what systems are we now planning to put in place to get rid of some of these positions? For instance, the women reps, it's becoming a thorn in the flesh. If we don't like our MPs, I can see people are planning to recall some of them. Hautasukumia watu mfanyikazi mwenye anakufanya ulie kila siku na wewe ndio unamlipa. Something else I remember when I was in school, around when Kibaki, the 208 PV, one thing that I remember, and that's why I want to remind ourselves some of the things which we are talking about, but we are not putting them, we are not emphasizing much about them. We've seen people talking about militia, people being trained, I don't know, in forests so that they can attack or kill people who oppose them. I remember very well before there were these post-election violence when Kibaki was in power. I don't know how many of our parents or people who remember. I remember my dad, before even elections happened, he started stocking up on food, started telling us kutaharibika, there are rumors that it's going to be bad. And that time, the digital spaces were not this open. But I remember, where did my dad get that intelligence? Then that tells us intelligence has always been there, and we should not ignore. The other day, Nelson released an entire list of people who are either funding violence way before, like 3 years. Tumebaki, I think, 2.5 years to elections. What are we doing about it? These people who are being trained, these militia who are being put in place, are people's relatives, neighbors, and friends. Why are they not being called out? So what I just wanted to say is, tusisikumiwe wafanyikazi ambao hatutaki kufanya kazi na wao. You cannot employ somebody and then they come boss you. They force you to pay them a salary while you're shedding tears. We must find a way, whether by coup or not by coup, but by other systems that have been put in place by the Constitution. God forbid if a sitting president dies, are we now going to start crying until the next cycle of elections? And what if we don't want this entire system? Remember, what we are saying is not only Ruto must go, but that entire Rutoism. Because ask yourself, if today Ruto leaves, are we going to put Kindiki in place because the Constitution says the deputy president should take the next position? I don't think I would want to even see Kindiki near that seat, or anybody associated with the Rutoism whole system. So we need to put systems in place and say, God forbid, when we put people who we do not want to see near that power anymore, what are we going to do to change this entire thing? We have a lot of work ahead of us, people. I don't know whether we'll need another referendum to change some of these things in the Constitution, but let's not forget that we've been told there are militia being trained, there are people planning to kill other people, there are even already people today who are being tear gassed and shot at in Moranga simply because you're a dissenting voice. What is our resolve? What do we want for this country? That is food for thought for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your submission. And I just want to be very clear that this space is rooted in facts and constitutional truth. I think no one is here calling for a coup, as you said. But what we are advocating is accountability through a lawful means. I personally initiated the recall process of Honorable Esther Passaris with this pressure point team. And what action is fully within the confinement of the Constitution? Article 104 gives to the people the right to recall their MPs. That is not rebellion. It's a democratic remedy. So yes, we reject unconstitutional actions, but we fully embrace every legal tool available to the people to demand better leadership and accountability. Having said that, thank you for your submission. Let's bring in Dr. Kimani. The mic is yours. Msema kweli, the mic is yours as we wait for Dr. Kimani.
Thank you, Hillary. And thank you, Hillary and Abdi. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, go ahead.
Yeah, so a lot has been said by many people, a lot of very good points. And obviously, our frustration is very palpable. And I know we said we want to be lawful, and yes, absolutely, we have to always follow lawful means. But also, we also have to understand that the law works. The law is the arrangement we have, all of us as Kenyans, so that we don't have to resort to violence. So it's kind of a conundrum when we have a situation where the government is to use violence instead of following the law. And now, as a citizen, you're kind of left in a situation where, like, how do you respond to this? Because it is, we can talk about the constitution and all that, which is good. Why do you even come up with the constitution in the first place? You come up with it so that all the 55 million of us can agree on how we're going to live together. And then that way we won't kill each other. We'll follow the law, which is grounded on the constitution. So we elected these characters. I think the first thing, because we said this space is, and other spaces is to find solutions. But so Malia spoke earlier and others have spoken. And the way this government has been conducting itself is essentially like you've elected people, give them your vote, and then they've decided to turn rogue on you. They've become gangsters. Essentially, we're being led by gangsters. And now here we are, citizens trying to figure out how to live, how to respond to this. I guess solutions first have to come. It's your right as a citizen to self-preserve. So you have to figure ways to self-preserve. You can protest and all that, but when you're met by live bullets, when you're going for a peaceful protest, that is a sticky situation. I know you have to be cautious, but also at the end of the day, Kilamtu has to plan for themselves, for their family. It's almost like individual responsibility. So if you're a father, you have to figure out how to provide and protect your family, or provide and protect your kijiji or your community. It starts from home ground. I think our system, I'm very cynical, and after the way we've been shafted for so many years, I think it's kind of hard to believe. I'm not very optimistic that even the so elected leaders, what is the ones who are in power, the ones coming in the future. I think we have to learn not to expect too much from these central powers in Kenya. I still believe the constitution has a lot to give, especially if we could bring the government closer to us. Because I find it, if we could make the local governments work and be more accountable, have more revenue, like say, for example, the security services, they should be at the county level. They don't have to be taking directions from Nairobi. And I would like to be able to see my local head of police and governor and talk about my security issues in my county and in my village or wherever. This thing of centralizing everything, and then when they screw up, everything gets screwed up and affects all the 50-something million, is not a good arrangement. I think the more power that people have individually, in their homes, in their communities, in their immediate area, meaning including the resources, meaning the ability of the counties to actually have way more revenue and way more control of their local affairs, from including even security services. I think that's the kind of direction we need to move in. Devolve everything. As hard as I know, and people are like, well, devolving, but there's good examples of some places where devolving has been working in Kenya. So if that model could be an empowerment of the devolution, so that there's less power at the top there in the center, the less power, a small central state and a more powerful local governments in all the counties. I think that is probably a good direction to go. But most importantly, self-reliance of ourselves. We can't be expecting the government to do everything. We need to figure out how to be self-reliant, provide for everything for ourselves, including our own security. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Kimani, are you still there? Dr. Kimani? Okay. Mulinge, go ahead.
Okay. So let me begin by making some few things clear. That one, there is no one, I believe, no one wants to unconstitutionally remove William Ruto from office. We can all agree on that, because as we fight to defend the Constitution, we must also be ready to abide by the same. But I would also like to say this, that it is constitutionally and democratically possible to remove William Ruto from power through other means other than the ballot. We should also agree on that as well. Because guys, if you start applying the Constitution selectively, we will not get to where we need to be as a country. So if it is the Constitution, let's all agree it is the Constitution, and the Constitution and Article 1 allows us to exercise our power directly. So if it happens through the streets, well and good. It is constitutional, both under national and international law. If it happens through the ballot, it is constitutional as well. So no one should tell us that the only way to remove William Ruto from power is through the ballot. No, the Constitution provides so many, gives us so many options. So guys, about the Constitution, I think I am very clear, because the same Constitution tells us that every Kenyan has every one of us should defend it as an obligation to respect, uphold, and defend this Constitution. When the people in power are ordering the slaughtering of children, then it is our duty as the citizens of this republic to defend the Constitution and tell them, guys, this is unconstitutional, and if you do not stop, we are going to arrest you. So we must also be very clear on that. We must, for us to get the solutions of all these problems we are having, we must be realistic and honest. How did we get to where we are as a people? It started way back when the rule of law was disregarded and the rule of politicians was put in place. So, if we want to abide by the Constitution, let's be ready to defend it. Let's be ready to face those who are criminalizing our freedoms and tell them these are non-negotiable. So we will not negotiate or compromise on our freedoms for the sake of cosmetic peace. We will not. It is very dangerous, and history will not forgive us if we do so. So guys, for now, I have also heard, I don't know who was that, who said they initiated the recalling of MPs, which is a good thing constitutionally on paper. But is it rooted on reality? The answer is no. And I have so many reasons. I'll give you one or two. The IEBC as it stands today will not accept any member of parliament to be recalled. To the people in power, this will set a very bad precedent. So they will not accept, they will frustrate the process. You will submit signatures, they'll tell you maybe, for example, we needed around 10,000 signatures, you've brought us around 7,000. What will you do? Nothing. Nothing. So guys, what I'm saying
Okay,
is,
can you land,
it
please?
is
Thank you.
okay. Sorry?
Yeah, land, please. Thank you. Go ahead. We have a minute to
Okay,
land. Thank you.
okay. So as I conclude, I have so many things to say, but because of time, let me just conclude by saying that as a country, we are in a very dangerous situation. And the only way we can get out of here is facing the reality. For the longest time, we have cheapened the leadership, the bar of leadership in this country, and the people in power cheapened our lives. The only way we can reverse this is by making sure we scrutinize everyone bila kupiga kura za huruma na emotions na vitu kama hizo. We must be honest about ourselves, the conversation. So guys, let me listen to others. I'll come back later.
Thank you for your submission. And just to be clear, no one has here said that the only way to remove a president is through the ballot. And we all know, and we have been discussing in this space, if you've ever been listening, and we talked about Article 145, the impeachment by Parliament, 144, removal on ground of incapacity, massive action and lawful protest, recall mechanism on other levels. Ultimately, the ballot is also the people's power, as we said. And all of these you said are within the confinement of the Constitution, peaceful, legal, and democratic tools. I'll give the mic to Dr. Milton to respond, and then we can hear from the ladies, Wanjiru and Malia, and then we move in that order. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to clarify one thing from the previous speakers who spoke after me, that the people cannot be helpless. That is far from what the constitutional architecture is about. And somebody saying that IEBC can frustrate the people. That is what we are trying to run away from. We want the people to have confidence that we, the people, means they have the power. And any point, those in office, and let me clarify one more time. Those people serving in whatever capacity, it is a privilege they have been given by the people. So there is no way that we want to recall our MPs and then you want to tell us that you're going to drag your feet and buy time. We need to get ourselves, we need to decolonize ourselves from that mindset. And I'm using decolonize here deliberately, that this is a mindset that we must deal with. That William Ruto, the IEBC, DPP, or whoever it is, they are not that powerful. When the people decide what they want to do, we have to believe that that is what we want and pursue it as much as we want to the logical end. So let us not feel helpless. I want to discourage all of us from feeling helpless when we are asking for what we are, because it is not a favor we are demanding. Remember, that is why I said that the Constitution of Kenya is the centerpiece. There is no greater manifesto, there is no greater definition of how we want to be governed other than as provided in the Constitution. it does not matter. We can remove those people from office anytime we feel they are not doing accordance in accordance to our aspirations as provided in the law. The other thing I wanted to say is this, again along the same line. People, we must realize that we live in the 21st century, in the era of technology and artificial intelligence and other things. We must begin to be deliberate about what we are asking for. It is not a favor from William Ruto. That is our employee. I am calling upon Kenyans, and I said it. I've said it so many times, and I repeated it yesterday before Rigiji, and I said, we must look at the people coming to work for Kenyans. Nataka tuwatazame kama mbot ama yule mjakazi wako anafanya kazi ya shambani ama kazi yoyote ile. Hakuna siku, na nizungumze na wamama, kuna siku maid atakuelekeza vile utafanya, ama maid akuja akwambie sasa leo niko na pesa mingi sana, I want to pay you. Does it ever work that way? Wamama wale mko hapa, siku ile Mbocha anainua kichwa hata kusema, umesema apike rice, apike mchele na apike wali kwa dengu, alafu upate amepika sijui nini na anaanza kuchallenge. That is the same day they go. How come we are applying a different standard when it comes to people working for us in government? Surely, and wamama, you can apply that same standard you deal with the wasichana wa kazi, wazee, the same way you treat your drivers. When people fail to meet your expectations, now you umewaajiri kazi, you don't think twice about it. You don't ask for their opinion. You don't seek their approval. You apply your power and say you are dismissed. That is what we are saying today. There is nothing unconstitutional, fellow Kenyans. There is nothing unconstitutional about demanding for William Ruto to go, and everybody, even saying it. In fact, we can say it every day of our life. We must not allow ourselves to be blackmailed into this idea of our opinion being bastardized. We are not here to take apologies for anybody. Please, that needs to, we must focus on the right things. Let us not feel helpless. Even speaking like we are doing is good enough. And sorry for sounding like I am regurgitating the same things I have said, but it is because that point needs to land. In fact, as many as we can begin to recall for members of parliament who are serving, we need to move ahead with that. Thank you, Abdi. Sorry if I have
Thank
repeated
you,
myself.
thank you, thank you. I think that's a better way to clarify, and I think that's a better way to put it. And I think before I go to the ladies, Dr. Kimani is on the line and he's there. As I bring him, Dr. Kimani, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. So we have been having this discussion. Kenya is bleeding for lack of, not for lack of resources, but because of greed at the top. While leaders soar in taxpayer-funded choppers, our children trek barefoot to overcrowded, neglected classrooms. This isn't about bad governance. It is betrayal of our national soul. We are buried in debts, joblessness, family can't even meet basic needs. Yet billions are wasted on luxury, not livelihood. Leaders must return to its true meaning, sacrifice, not status, service, not enrichment. As I welcome you, I ask you this question. In a nation where luxury is prioritized over learning and power over the people, how do you reimagine a leadership rooted in values, dignity, and justice? And what role do we play people in making that shift real beyond the slogans and tribal lines? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abdi. That's a good and a very complex question that we can, have a conversation for some time, because If I may remember, and salute to and greetings to all the people here that have spoken before me. I remember there was a time one PLO Lumumba suggested some cleaning up in the, with the ESCC and all that. And he later said, people in Kenya will always elect people with money and leave those without money but have got, those with brains and ethical away. And unfortunately, that becomes the threshold for how we do elections in Kenya. And now today, and I believe we are now getting to a point whereby Kenyans are getting angry enough to be able to see and speak in one voice of never again. I think as of now, and especially, with the reality that a few of our MPs are being recalled, it is a true testament to the fact that people are tired. People can now see what they have not been seeing over the time. Because when I look at the people who present themselves to be the leaders that we want, majority of them, and that is the reality, they have the ideas, but they do not have the capacity as Kenyans expect them to be. So we also, the voters are also a bunch of people that also need to be blamed for this, because we want somebody who will give us money today, eat that money today and forget about tomorrow. But without investigating and even looking at it deeply, that, fine, you've given me this money today. Why should you give me this money today and you not be there to give that same money tomorrow and the day after for me and my family? But that's a technique, is a tactic that has been used over years, year in, year out, to make sure that people are not empowered. Not because these people have got the power, they know how to manipulate, because people do have the power. But somebody else has gotten ahead of them and manipulated how to wield that power in that way. And today we need to investigate, because some people hear, oh, kula pesa yao, alafu jua mahali utapiga kura yako. No, 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 no. That one should not go, because that same money that we've been chewing over time, it's the same money that's supposed to go build classes. It's the same money that's supposed to go pay doctors. It's the same money that's supposed to go buy medicines. It's the same money that's supposed to help students go to the university and also be able to build other infrastructure that is supposed to help people create wealth and job in Kenya. But people do not, you only see a 50 shilling. They do not want to question further than that. And then 5 years or 2 years down the line, we start now questioning and crying. Kwa nini tulifanya hivi? This is it. This is the reason why. Anybody coming to you with the money, you need to ask them, umetoa pesa hii wapi? Like, for example, the question that we're asking about the president of, why should you on this build a church that is worth 1.2 billion? That money could go to other facilities, and all of us have talked about this year in, year out, and every speaker knows about this. So these are conversations that we need to have, and have them with the people who seem to be praising and becoming sympathizers of people who cannot ask the hard questions. Because you ask me a hard question, if I'm in power, it is your responsibility, and it is my responsibility to give you the answer of, this is the money you are given, how much money did you even spend? Today, going abroad a little bit and brought a little, you have seen the United States, not that I agree with everything they do, but they're even withdrawing their support from the United Nations. Who would have ever imagined that the United States of America, which saw the birth of United Nations those years, refusing to give them money. One of the reasons why they are refusing to give money is because of the duplication. In Kenya, coming back home, a Kenyan is overrepresented. Let us agree on that one fact. Why should one person be represented by over 15 people? For what reasons? It seems we do not have our priorities in order. So what am I suggesting? I am suggesting that we continue scrutinizing our leaders, those who want to present themselves for leadership in the coming election, before or in 2027, and let them be able to tell us what is it that they will, because we have to have that conversation, to be honest, about reducing, because if we have to deal with the pending bills, we are the people who are going to do it, or we are going to pass it on to the next generations. But how are they going to even be able to pay that. It is not possible. We have to interrogate and say whose responsibility it is to be able to take the bullet by the head. The leadership that we are putting in place are people. Let us look. We do not want to care whether somebody is famous or popular. They are popular or famous for doing the wrong things. For example, let us look for people who have got no political baggage. Somebody who does not have to give anybody nothing to be able to deal with cartels, for instance. Somebody who is willing to come and deal with the civil service head on. Because, for us to be able to remove all this duplication, there has to be a radical change that must be promised by people. And we must hold those people into account of why those things never got done or they were done in the wrong way. We must be able to look at radical people, but people without baggage politically, Kenya and abroad. So those are the people that are going to have, because the next government, as I see it, has to be a government of transition, to be honest. The person coming to lead that Kenya, say for example, as the president or the governors, we are coming into those spaces to be the transitioners, because whatever has happened over years has never happened again in this life. They are claiming life is better, but nobody is feeling it. So where is it that we are taking our money? Our money is being taken from Kenya abroad. Pesa ikitolewa Kenya, it only benefits the country where it is taken to benefit. It will never come back to Kenya to benefit Kenyan economy. No, not at all. So the Kenyans continue to suffer in silence. Lastly, I want to touch on those two issues, and if I don't, I'll be very, very disappointed on education and health. I have said time and again that if you want to destroy a country, touch its health and education systems. I have also said in the same platform that we are now taking our children to school, but we do not even know what they will become in the next few years, to say the least. We know what Kibaki did, and we can see the results today. Today, it is not the case. Yes, it is said it is free basic primary education, or whatever it is called, change its name from CBC to CBE, but do we have the resources? Do we have the personnel and everything that is supposed to equip those young minds to become independent? Or do you want to just put them there and make them feel they have to become dependent throughout and throughout? Because they have to look for they don't have books, they don't have teachers, they don't have classrooms, they don't have, and when you ask them, somebody has to come in the name of national CDF to give them something, and then they will start praising that person. While that money is their own money, and they will continue singing and all that. So the national government will come in the same slogan and song and tell them the same thing. Go to the hospital, the same case happened. So when you don't, because these are, among the three ideas or things, factors that have been fought for or with across the globe: ignorance, diseases, and poverty, right? So if you touch any of them and neglect any of the three, there is no way you're going, my friend. And that's where we are in Kenya. And lastly, do we have anybody checking what is happening in Haiti? Do you even know whether our boys and girls are there, are still alive there? Because now the gangs are still, in town. Where are our boys? Where are our girls? Thank you so much, Abdi.
Thank you, thank you. Before I bring Wanjiru and Malia, and then we go to Farah, as we cycle back to everybody else after. Wanjiru, as you come in, I think we talked about this. We initiated the recall for Honorable Pasaris, and we had it all, IBCU, and we had from the 257 bloggers, many of them on the chats you have seen, saying that IBC won't act. You can't get the signatures. It won't meet the threshold. Yes, the online pushback was loud and bold, with over 500 bloggers trying to drown the conversation. But we stood firm because the recall is constitutional, right? Whether or not it is successful, it is a step in the right direction. It educates voters, put the leaders on notice, and opens up the civic space. Speaking out is always better than seeing no evil, hearing no evil. And with that, I want you to welcome you in the space to share your thoughts, because this movement needs every voice. Sante sana Wanjiro, the mic is yours.
Asante sana Abdi. And first, maybe to even say congrats for even starting the initiation of recalling the MPs and specifically Pasaris for what she even said. It was such a bold move, and I applaud braveness. And I think when we're talking about action plans, you're actually implementing it. So, good job on that. And on correcting signatures, let nobody make you feel like we cannot do it. You know, I keep on saying, just a minute, the Constitution, I have the Constitution on my phone. When you go to the Constitution preamble, the supremacy is actually given to God, and then it's honored um, to people who brought freedom and justice in our land. And the Constitution is also proud for our ethnic and cultural religious diversity, and it's respectful for the environment and exercising our sovereign and inalienable that's French right to determine the form of governance for our country and have participated. So and chapter 1 of the Constitution is actually gives sovereignty to all people. It says, in all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with the Constitution. And 2, the people may exercise their sovereign power directly, either directly or through their democratically elected representative. So in this, you don't even need to read the entire constitution to understand what the constitution says. Just have to understand the power belongs to you. You are the person holding that power. Being a Kenyan by birth or being a Kenyan by any form gives you the power to actually to actually elect people, to actually also exercise your powers directly. You go and vote for Ruto, just like I think it was maybe Dr. Milton was saying, you've employed someone and the someone is actually vomiting at you. The person shows no respect to you. You employ them, you pay them, you give them that power to guard your house. I miss it like, but I didn't like when he said maid. I would maybe most say I would maybe call them house managers. You have a house manager and the person is supposed to manage your house, your groceries, your whatever, and then instead of the person doing that, they start bossing you around and making sure you feel small. You're not even safe in your own house. They start bringing other people governing your house. We have to be very generous on it. We have to be generous by our country. You cannot have somebody coming to boss us aloud just because we give them that power. We have to realize the constitution, before it even gives the president power to represent us, it gives us that sovereignty that we have. 50 million Kenyans have. I don't know how much we are now. I would maybe say 55 or 52. But we are 50 million of us have that power to elect one person who will actually represent us. But if that person cannot, constitution says that person can be removed. Do not have those thoughts of we will be frustrated by IBC, we will be doing that. If we have not tried starting to try to remove these people from to recall MPs, how will we know we'll be frustrated? And you know, so do not be afraid, do not be dismayed or anything else. And just to remind you, these people are stealing money every day. These people do not care about you. These people are actually they do not care about us. If somebody can actually give a warning of shoot the leg to maim protesters, to maim Kenyan youth, to make sure they are actually disabled, that's somebody who doesn't have the heart of Kenyans back in their mind. So let's approve what the constitution says about recalling the MPs. Let's make sure we have started with Pasalius. Next time, I don't know if you're going to Kimani Ichung'wah, but we have to go to every other person and make sure they have been recalled. Let's show our power. Wametupiga kule kwa streets, but we can do this in. That's why the beauty of having spaces, the beauty of us being the sovereignty. Unakuja na akili yako, unatupatia idea, mwingine anatupatia idea yake, and then we're like, wow, this idea actually works. If we do like this actually works. And not to also forget, dear Kenyans, the coffee, the farmers are actually crying a lot. The farmers are crying, especially farmers who farm wheat. The price of 50 kilograms of wheat has reduced, I think, with more than 300 Kenyan shilling, up to maybe it is really bad. things are reducing in prices and fertilizers are expensive, or maybe this is not, the country is not good in any way. So let's make sure we also protect each other and also make sure we are brothers and sisters keepers. I had another point, Abdi, but I forgot. I will come back again.
Thank you, always thank you. You're still on the mic panel, that's fine. Before we bring Farah, let's go to Malia, and then we can hear that.
Thank you, Abdi. Yeah, so as Wanjiru has said, let's go on with this agenda of impeaching the MPs. It's something which is very powerful. If you can recall, some time back, I think it was around that June 25th, maybe afterwards, there was a call for signing, collecting signatures to impeach these MPs. And some of them even came out to apologize because that's the one thing they fear most. Being impeached or being removed from office, they fear it even more than death. So if we can be able to organize ourselves in such a way that we can collect those signatures and we impeach, even if it is a few, they will get the message that they are not there permanent and pensionable the way they've been thinking. Because these people, what happens is that they are very good when they're campaigning, but as soon as they enter the parliament, that's the end of the story now. They even don't want to pick any calls from their constituents. They move. If they were coming from a rural area, they now move permanently to Nairobi. They change their lines and all these kinds of things. So we are.
Did we lose Malia?
Yes, we can't hear you.
Go ahead, Hillary, take over. Thank you.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Malia, and thank you so much, Abdi, for that. Yeah, I hear people are calling for the action points. Malia, can you hear me? No, I think she has connection issues. She will join us when she's back to network. Farah, go ahead, pick it up from there. And also, as we talk about the State of the Nation series, what are the action points? What are the what do we do going forward? Farah.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
Farah.
Shukran, Abdi. So I think the conversation today is actually very, very good because we're asking ourselves a very important question, even though we are dancing around the question, not really asking the question in itself. And the question is, what is Kenya? What makes Kenya a state? Because I believe Kenya is not the leaders, the names, the Railas, the Rutos, the Gashagwas, but Kenya is meant and supposed to be a country based on the social contract or the existence of a social contract amongst ourselves. And this social contract gives birth to our institutions, and then we have leaders who are there to enforce this social contract, and these institutions enforce whatever we have agreed upon ourselves. But the truth is, we do not have a social contract as a people, and a lot of us are oppressors in waiting. It's just that we haven't gotten the opportunity. And I believe until the day we love for each other what we love for ourselves, Kenya will, the idealism of Kenya will always be a fantasy. Because today, we were having a volleyball tournament here in Kajiado today, and I was there, and we were having just a political discussion as happens in every circle. And one thing I really loved was we were talking about like the state of the nation and everything that's happening, and then one person decided to bring a tribal aspect into it and say how Wakikuyu, and the first reaction was for everybody was wewe usitulete ukabila, sisi wote ni Wakikuyu, and it's actually very beautiful. And until we are actually ready to live by this, not just say it, whereby anybody who is oppressed, we are with him, we are all him. Just as we did for Albert, immediately we learned of his demise and how he was killed. We were all there. And until we are ready to do this for every single Kenyan, regardless of tribe, race, religion, or where they come from, I do not think that. Basically, what I'm trying to say is until we decide to view Kenya through the lens of being a Kenyan and not being Somali then Kenyan or Kikuyu then Kenyan or Jaluo then Kenyan, the idea of the Kenya we want will always be a fallacy. The other thing, leaders, we do not get to choose leaders based on merit so far as a nation. We choose people based on sensationalism, psychophancy, tribalism, and whoever gives you a handout. Kiukweli, I really loved what Milton was saying that we're supposed to carry these people to wabebe kama wafanyikazi wetu, because in reality they are our employees. These are people who most of them cannot even employ themselves, so they come to us seeking for employment. But the craziest part about it is how we've turned our employees into our masters. How diabolical that is. It's as though mimi niende leo kwa boma yangu ya ngamia nijaribu kuhesabu ngamia mfanyakazi anifukuze. Do you understand the madness? Today we worship our employees, and it's gotten these people. They do not actually view us as their bosses, because look at what just happened recently. We had a fuel high hike in the price of fuel. Why? Because they took loans against the money that they hiked. Today in Kajiado, roads are at their worst that they have ever been. There is no maintenance. But you know what their best solution is? To hire choppers, not to fix the roads, because those problems no longer affect them if they're in choppers. It's gotten to a point whereby we were in the field today playing volleyball and a chopper landed kuteremsha wafanyakazi wa governor, not even the governor himself, his employees. The chopper landed, the employees alighted, and the chopper left. Do you understand how diabolical that is? And at the same time, the hospital here does not have drugs. And if you try to question your employee, it becomes an issue unless you're from the same tribe. So the long and short of it is, we have to be.
Sorry, Farah, go ahead. I think you accidentally muted.
Thank you. The long and short of it is, we want to have a Kenya based on merit and equality and all these things. But are you, as a Kenyan, treating your fellow Kenyans with merit, equality, and all those things? Because you cannot demand that which you do not do. You cannot ask your leaders to be fair while we are not fair amongst ourselves. So it has to start from us. Let us establish a social contract amongst ourselves, and leaders will emerge who will enforce this social contract. Because if we do not tolerate oppression, then who will oppress us? But we've become so accustomed to it that the idea of freedom and actually making decisions for yourself as a nation progressively, collectively, it becomes as though it's unachievable. But the truth of it is, we just have to come together. Wewe nipende nikupende, regardless of wewe ni nani ama mimi ni nani. Unless we are willing to do that, unless we are all Somali, we are all Kikuyu, we are all, if it comes to any issue affecting Kenya, sisi ni makabila zote, sisi ni watu wa dini yote, then we will still have a very long way to go. Thank you, Hilary and Abdi.
Thank you so much, Farah, for that. And we really appreciate your comment on the same that let us be one as we move forward. But as Kenyans, what are the action points that we want to take as we move on? Ben, I see you. You have a mic. And then Paul. Umali, I'm coming to you. I know maybe the network was an issue. Rich. Okay. Paul, you can pick it up from there. I think Ben is
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
I can just wind up what I was saying. I was
Oh
saying,
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Malia.
yeah, I was saying, let's organize ourselves and take this issue of impeaching the MPs seriously. Let's collect those signatures. Once we hit 2 or 3 of them, you'll see the behavior will change. Because right now, as soon as they are sworn into office, they feel like they are superhuman, they're invincible. That's why they behave the way they want to behave. But when they see that there is a chance for them being removed from the office, I can assure you they'll soon start towing the line, because that's the thing which they are afraid of more than anything else. So, as Kenyans, we need to organize ourselves, because now, with all the events that have happened since the last election, we've now gotten it very clearly that there are only 2 groups which are in Kenya: the political elite and we, the rest of the Kenyans who want this country to be livable for every single one of us. So we have to unite and we have to organize. We have to organize ourselves and use every arsenal that we have to be able to fight with these people, because now we are fighting a war against the political elite. I mean, they are already at war with us. Yeah. So we also need to look at what is in our arsenal. What can we use against these people? How can we be able to remove these people from office? How can we be able to compel these people to do the right thing by us? So we need to think about that. And even when we are planning, when we'll come up with a candidate for the people candidates we want to replace the people who are there, we're gonna need to organize ourselves to be able to even help them to campaign, because we don't want a situation whereby the person pays us money, as what has been happening before. He dishes out handouts, and then after that, when he enters in the office, he now has to recuperate his costs. We want candidates who we are the ones who have funded them, we are the ones who have helped them do their campaign, we've helped them. Even if we don't help them monetarily, we can be able to help them to do the campaign and many other things. We can be able to offer them some free services for printing and all these, so that when they enter in the office, they are not they are beholden to us. They are not trying to make back the money which they dished out, so that we can kill that culture of dishing out handouts, and then when you get in the office now, it's high time to return your money plus interest. Thank you for that opportunity. Back to you.
Thank you, Malia. There is also I see a lot of text messages saying that this is never gonna win. I just want to say this to these people who have been trying to come with this conversation. This was never about winning. It is about awakening. A recall is a constitutional tool, and by using it, we broke the silence that has shielded poor leadership for too long. It sends a powerful message. The people are watching. No seat is too safe to be that is too safe to be challenged. Whether it succeeds or not, it wins because it sparks what we call a civic awareness, hold leaders accountable, and reclaims public power. Silence has never served the people. That's why spaces like this matter, and that's why I would say the recall is not about a win or lose. It's a national awakening. Asante sana for adding to that. Over to you, Hillary.
Oh, thank you so much, Abdi. Paul, Malaya, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Hillary. How are you?
I'm well.
Yeah. The only point I can put forth, I think, it's also to do with the recalling of MPs. Actually, Abdi, I would love to know like how far that has gone. You'll advise me, or rather advise us after I speak. So I was actually thinking that is quite a good idea, because obviously this is a way also to kind of, in a sense, test drive the IBC, see what they are all about, see how they are working. So this is actually a very good sign for us. So this actually should be taken like in, say, nationwide. So this is in a sense, it's also put them to task, and we'll get to know how they are actually working. So this should actually be a very positive step that we should put forward on how we see how IBC is going to work. Because if they function properly, that will be an indicator of what they are doing or how they. So that's what I would actually. That's kind of my point that I actually have for today. Is like, let's
do this and let's come out of take it like an almost in a sense as we believe that we're sovereign, and we obviously at the end of the day we decide. In fact, we should not have this mindset that the IBC is not going to do, and if they don't do, we just they're out. They're out. We just kick them out straight away. So even this will be a test for them to know that people are actually serious, and they'll know they don't have time, and they won't have any chance where they can actually play with the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Paul is saying that we need to recall these MPs, then we test the IBC that is already sat there. Oh, that's a good idea. So one other thing that I know we are talking about: are you eligible to vote? Have you checked your voting card? And if you don't have that, what is derailing you not to have the voting card, so that when we take this action, we are prepared on the same. And we need to, as much as we know, maybe the voting sometimes is not working in our home, but we still have a voice, and we have a way even to know that things are going right. All right. Thank you so much for that, Paul. Um, okay, Russ, how are you doing today?
Thank you, my brother Hila. How are you? I hope you're doing well.
Good. Yes, sir.
Kidogo nilikuwa kwenye barabara hapa na pale wakati Abdi mlifungua. But I just got home and I'm trying to settle. I was also trying to conduct one Almin Kimathi and Khalid, so that they can come and shed more light, also with the family of one Mwabili, to come and shed more light on what had happened to Comrade Mwabili. And I'm glad, and I think the country is already aware that Mwabili was found after we made, after Kenyans, in their usual solidarity and unity, made the calls. So let us continue what we do best here. Let us continue engaging and calling out this regime. I know everybody is disturbed mentally, kutoka health, kwenda education. Things don't look pretty good. And we need to call them out. We need to call them out in all fronts. Otherwise, I think you'll give me a few minutes, Hila, as I try to reach, because I want for them to come and explain to us how far have they gone with this particular matter, because abduction are still going on. Let us not forget that. William Ruto is still rogue, and he has abducted, he has really he has a very organized team of abductors that they are coordinating between the three countries, East Africa country, that is Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. So it's unfortunate up to this particular moment, no report, no statement from the Foreign Affairs Ministry, no report from the Kenya government about abduction. The same thing to Tanzania, no statement. And it is our hope that Kenyans will continue noting this down, continue highlighting these. They will continue international organization as we don't hide, tusiweke vitu chini ya carpet. All people who recorded all those videos during the demonstration, the killings, how Rex was, at some point this government will be held accountable. You've had also plans of indicting this government and the person in charge of this government back to the international community. You've had their people doing that. We hope that at some point Kenyans will be given the justice they really deserve. I think, Hillary, I'll leave at that because I'm still following up on these individuals, and then I'll
Thank
come
you.
back.
Thank you so much, Ras. Thank you so much, Ras. Yeah, brief. Go ahead. Then I give Dr. Kimani. As you come in brief, what do you think that apart from voting, because we are calling this, and this is the legal process that we want to follow, and to do that, what is your take on recalling the MPs on the same, and what can you advise even the young people, the Gen Zs who doesn't have voters, doesn't have ID, what can they do?
Thank you, Hillary. By the way, I started pushing for recalling MPs as one of the most immediately available tool that was immediately available to us immediately after the 2024 Gen Z protest movement. I remember being shut down very loudly at the time, nikaambiwa nauzia watu uoga. And yet, the people that were shouting me down, they were not offering any details about how to do it. So yes, this is a very powerful tool. It is a constitutional tool. It is available for us immediately. Anybody can do it. And I would have continued, by the way, to still do it. Were it not for the fact that physically, geographically, I'm just far away. And can you imagine how powerful it would have been immediately after the Gen Z? But anyway, forget the past. We are here now. But I just want to say one thing. Can you imagine if we had recalled immediately Kimani Ichung'wah, the leader of the majority, right? For just rolling over and going along with William Ruto and then being so arrogant as he was doing it immediately after the Gen Z movement and after all those killings. Can you imagine how powerful, what a powerful message we would have sent? We would have sent fear into rippling through the houses of parliament, and then we would have followed that through after recalling the majority leader with others in leadership, right? It did not happen, but we are here now. Congratulations, Abdi, and this room for initiating that with Esther Passaris. But we have to go further. We have to ensure that this is followed through. And you're right, Abdi, it's not about whether or not it succeeds. Of course, we want for it to succeed. We have to push, absolutely push for it to succeed. Na tuache kuuziwa uoga ati IBC will not, because this is our IBC. The IBC does not answer to the president. It is an independent constitutional commission. And we have seen it, by the way, defy presidents. Over and over. So we have seen, by the way, for a while, IEBC, the IEBC after the 2010 Constitution, in my view, has been a pretty independent IEBC, and we have seen a good deal of independence coming from it. So let us make use of that constitutional body. So, yes, absolutely. That is one constitutional tool that we have. The other constitutional tool that we have, and we need to be honest with Kenyans, we need to not sell pie in the sky to Kenyans. When we talk about exercising our democracy directly, it is either through the ballot, through our representatives in parliament and in both houses of parliament, or when it comes to direct exercise of our constitutional rights, it is with protest, right? With civil disobedience, which is protected in the law. But when it comes to civil disobedience, the response that, or rather, the removal of the president through civil disobedience is only happens when the president acquiesces to our pressure and then resigns. But that's not the only way. The other way is when is impeachment. There is no way that the president, who is the head of the ruling party, which has the majority of seats in the House, would impeach the president unless there is due pressure placed upon them to do so. And how do you put that due pressure? Again, it goes back to what you guys have already initiated, recall of MPs. If we were to couple the recall of MPs with peaceful, well organized demonstrations that can somehow even manage to. By the way, I've always the other thing that I've always argued for is that we should have done a lot more to bring uniformed personnel onto our side. And I think that that can be done. There are people in government, the goons that government hires, that want to ensure that there are no peaceful government, right? And these goons, including the goons that are in parliament and in government and in other places, they're the ones who want to ensure that demonstrations are never peaceful. And so we should work so much harder to ensure that we have peaceful demonstrations that can actually bring the message. And then, of course, outside of doing those things, there's the ballot. It is the last resort. And when it comes to the ballot, what I want to come back to is, by the way, I don't speak about this. I have never actually spoken about this. My nephew was shot on Sabasaba. After Sabasaba, he was not at the demos, but he was attacked. Walivamiwa in Dagoretti Market, they were essentially ambushed by government personnel and police, some of them not in uniform, some of them in uniform. They surrounded young men. And my nephew is right now in hospital. He's had 3 surgeries. And yes, he was shot in the leg, vile wamekuwa akisema. But don't make no mistake that when they say shoot in the leg, you sort of imagine, okay, I mean, even if you're most generous, you still think, okay, at least he survived. But this young man is maimed, and the doctors are saying it is a very, very lengthy healing process that walimpiga risasi tatu in one leg, and they shattered his shin bone, and he has a huge hole in the shin. So I'm just even grateful that his leg has not been amputated. I visited Kenya with a group of diaspora, a group of us from the diaspora, and 2 from that group alone had were affected after Sabasaba, and both of them, in both instances, my nephew and a friend's daughter who got killed, the young lady Julie that got killed in Kirinyaga. Both of them were not actually in demonstrations. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong in demonstrations. What I'm saying is they were systematically attacked, even outside of demonstrations. So even outside of our exercising of peaceful demonstrations, make no mistake about it, there are people who want to make sure that there is chaos and drama. So anyway, so back to so just to be very clear, I'm very closely affected by the craziness that's going on, and I say that for context for what I'm presenting. So outside of that is of course the exercise, our exercise at the ballot, but I am arguing that, and I reject wholly that because we really need to remove this government. And by the way, the government is the one pushing the tribal agenda heaviest, right? So make no mistake about it. When I pointed to even the opposition doing so, or other elements of the opposition doing so, I was not suggesting that they're the only ones or that they're even the primaries. And the opposition has no power. They're not in power. They're not in government. The government is the one that's primarily pushing that tribal narrative. And as Kenyans, we all have to reject it. But when it comes to exercising our rights at the ballot, we have to be prepared for today, and we also have to be prepared for 2027. And when we are preparing for 2027, what we have to hold ourselves accountable for is that we are not pushing to the forefront leaders who are part of. Let's be clear about one thing: we are still ruled by KANU. All of these, we have a one-party state and government. We've never had multi-party system, because every single time we've had elections, the same cabal, the same people from KANU always come back together and they unite. And we saw them unite against Gen Z in 2024. We see them uniting again this time around. And so we have to hold ourselves accountable, not to continue to elect and push to the forefront the same leaders from the same cabal, just because they are shouting loudly against government today because it's convenient for them in order for them to seek power. We have to hold ourselves accountable as Kenyans too. We Kenyans pushed the same cabal, the same two people who were at the forefront of trying to remove Kibaki at the behest of the CIA in 2005 with the tribal narrative of the time, 41 against 1. It was William Ruto and Raila Odinga together. They were the purveyors of 2007. They are the ones who are in power now. Again, so it is no accident that we are back to the politics of tribe. And the people surrounding them, including those who are now in opposition, who are claiming that they are somehow our saviors, let us remember that they have always been part of that cabal. And so that's why I'm pushing for us that we do have to actually take stock and push leaders that we know are not tainted by any accusations, not even convictions, even accusations. And those leaders do exist. Like I keep saying, there's Kivuza Kibwana, there's Professor Anyang', there's a couple of other governors who have not been tainted by allegations, and even people who've served in cabinet positions. They are there. But we Kenyans need to stop being lazy. And I'm tired of coddling Kenyan laziness now, including on our side, those of us who want of coddling the laziness of not informing ourselves and not doing our due diligence. And I really, really, again, I applaud you that you have taken this step because this is one of the most immediately available to us constitutional tools for us to move forward to get the Kenya that we want. But we have to hold ourselves accountable and we have to hold ourselves to higher standards, to the standards that we are looking to see reflected in the government that we want. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. And just to clarify to Paul, the recall process is already in motion. Tomorrow, Shakira and KOT and other registered Nairobi voters will be submitting the petition to the IEBC chair at a specified time they agreed. Signature collections is ongoing, and we expect the chair to give directions after the submission. And it isn't just like a talk. This is a constitutional action being exercised by the Nairobi voters. The process is alive, is in public domain, and it's gaining traction by the hour. Asante sana, and that was the point I wanted to clarify. And Dr. Milton, as you come in also, I just want to know a peep of the interview that's gonna go with Kurunzi Media in Baltimore in regards to Riggy and the CS for interior. I think we just need to have a highlight on your upcoming interview. Asante sana.
So, like I said, what we are doing is that, and I think this is important for people to also hear. We are getting ourselves, as Kurunzi News, we are saying anybody that is looking for space to express themselves in terms of the one-term message, and not just one term, but the concept of good governance, social justice, and democracy. We are making our platforms available to you. The last few weeks, I've been engaging with a movement called New Generation Aspirants, and we are saying, as you struggle to get on the mainstream media or legacy media, as it were, we are making ourselves available. We have a functional, professional website where you can then, articulate your issues. We have all the social media platforms available. We have a fairly um, strong and steadily growing YouTube channel where then we put in content. We have a team that works based in Nairobi, but we have correspondents around the country. We are trying to build that, so we are making it available for people who are in the movement and believe in the quest for democracy, change in Kenya, and social justice. So I will be having the opportunity to speak with Honorable with Rigi G, and hopefully we get him with Pastor Dorcas together. We want to discuss these issues and ask all the tough questions. We hopefully will get another opportunity with Dr. Matiangi. We are also looking forward to having CJ Maraga. And for us, is about talking accountability and how the next general election we are shaping the conversation so that people vote on issues and people, like I said, reject anybody that comes with bags of money because then that is the first red flag. So we will, and we are asking people to send in the questions. You can DM me any question. By the way, I will ask all the uncomfortable questions um, uh, to all these people when I engage with them. And if you're in wherever you are, you can send in the question. We will ask, and we will give you an opportunity to then follow that interview when we get to have it. Again, for us, it's about accountability, it is about transparency, it's about democracy, it's about rule of law, it's about good governance. That is all we are asking for. I will repeat what I said. We do not need lofty ideas in form of a manifesto. What we need is a work plan on how the Constitution of Kenya 2010 will be implemented under the leadership that comes after William Ruto. That is because the Constitution already provides how the Kenyan people aspire to be governed. The other point is as we push with the recall, um, how about we also look at what is it that we can do in our in our small ways. We have started already, Abdi, and you've done a great job with Esther Passaris. How do we do it for many other members of parliament? Imani Shungwa, can we get somebody who's a voter in Kikuyu? Can we get a voter in South Mogirango? Can we get a voter in West Mogirango? So that we start this process and we can process everything all at once because these are different constituencies. But then in such a way that even the judiciary, because uh, I think that the 11th parliament, out of mischief, introduced a requirement that the courts have to be part of the process of recalling MPs. We make them so many in such a way that the courts will be scared of acting any other way other than to grant the prayers of the petitioners who are voters in the respective constituencies that we will be looking at. And we can start with the notorious one. And the way to do it, Hillary, if you allow, so that we have a way forward, is to now begin to take stock who comes from which constituency here so that we can then use those people to mobilize and identify the polling stations. We can narrow down and start that process of signature collection. We can use the technology that we have, and people can sign on those petitions. I think the requirement is 2,000 signatures. We can do it. We have the woman representative that was talking about Kuibia William Ruto. We have Kamket in Tiati. We have Pasaris is already going on. We have Nelson Koech in Belgut. We have KJ in Dagoretti South. And we could reach out to Fanyamambo and see what they are doing. So I think for me, what we need to do now is to collaborate and, caucus as different initiatives, even outside of this space, and see who else is doing what. Because I know Cyprian Yamwamu is doing something for Nairobi and for the country against William Ruto with their quest to constitute a national transitional process to remove William Ruto and everybody and have a transitional president. So there are all these initiatives. Panyamambo is doing something. I know my friend Lempaso Yanka, they're working on something with the advocate and Degwanjiru. I know that Willis Wakili is doing something about the election state, but those are people that have good ideas. Can we now begin to bring these caucuses together and say what are they doing so that we are not working at cross purpose, because ultimately our intention is one. Like I said, we are all in one room, we are all in one house, just that we are in different rooms. How do we then all have a clarion call to gather at the living room and strategize and execute? That is what we need to do. And as I land, I want to tell you this: William Ruto right now, he is struggling so much to put a head and a face to the opponent he will be facing in the next general election. We must not give him that chance, because once we do, then it will be easy. Imagine, this is somebody who overcame the burden of incumbency of the Uhuru administration and presented himself as the alternative, yet he was the deputy president in that administration. So we must be alive to this fact. We must constrain William Ruto to running, if he gets to the next general election, that he runs against his own record and not against an individual candidate. It will be him, his record against the Kenyan people. That is the kind of political architecture we want to put in place. And that is what my desire is, that the next general election will be the incumbents against their records and the Kenyan people. Once we are able to do that, we want it to be half-term. But in the event that we do not achieve that for one reason or another, then we need to be very, very strategic in how we get out of the different rooms we are in, so that we strategize and we all work together. And it does not matter. I want to sound a warning that whoever comes in will be held by the same standard, if not a higher one, than William Ruto. Because the time for playing mind games and thinking that it is business as usual for the Kenyan people and you can cheat your way to power, and when you get there, you start, excuse me, and when you get there, you start doing other things, it has to be fight. We must continue to agitate. We must never give up. We must never lose hope. And we must never settle for anything less than we deserve as a Kenyan people. And the reference point at all times, fellow Kenyans, is the Constitution of Kenya. And if we have any doubt, let us refer to the Constitution of Kenya. And if it is too much to read, then let us narrow it down to chapter 4 of that document, which is the Bill of Rights. That is where everything starts and ends. And then Article 232 on the values and principles of public service, and Article 81, which defines our democratic institution and structure, and everything that we should be looking out for as we go through these processes. That is really the bare minimum, and that should be the baseline from where everything stems. Otherwise, we will get distracted, and there is the likelihood of the system confusing us. And in that miasma, then we get lost, and before we know it, they are back in office, and they will start telling us how we should be sympathetic to them, and the Stockholm syndrome, and how they are there to stay. We should never allow ourselves to get into that. I appreciate the opportunity to articulate this position, and pardon me if I may have stretched it a little bit in terms of
Okay.
time,
Yeah.
but I think it is very important that we make this very, very crystal clear for the country to have a clear direction on what we want
Yes.
moving forward and how we achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Milton. We are on the top of the hour. Hillary, over to you as we start cycling for the closing remarks. Thank you. Hillary? Your closing statements, and then we start moving on that order. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I need to tell anyone of what they already know, which is that we live in a lawless purgatory. We're in a lawless state. We need to understand that. And we have the power to change our circumstances. You know, when you're going through what we're going through right now as a country where our constitution means nothing, all those rights in the constitution don't mean a damn thing if they don't protect you and I, right? None of us can say for certain that you're going to wake up in the morning tomorrow, not because you might die, but because the government might decide to come and pick you up, both incommunicado, take away your rights. And so it is upon us to make sure that we guard our constitution, that we protect it, and we reject people that are taking advantage of it to to create a hostile Kenya for us. So it's upon us. Every one of us can play a part. You have to look in yourself and ask yourself, what role can I play? Some of us can articulate these issues in the media. Some of us are going to be better at educating our fellow citizens. Some of us are better as leaders. Look in yourself and ask yourself what role you can play, and then step up when your country needs you. Our country needs all of us today to serve it, to make sure that we reject what's happening. We strengthen our constitution. So play your role. Play your role. Asante.
Thank you, Asante Sana. Briscope, your parting shot.
Um, I don't have too much on my parting shot, but I will say, by the way, I am a registered voter in Dagoretti South, KJ's district. So if and when Dagoretti and my fellow Dagoretians are ready to recall, and my fellow activists are ready to support a candidate, I am ready to stand up in 2027. Um, and I say that only half jokingly, maybe not in 2027, but at some point, because we do have to step up, right? We can't just keep asking for the leaders that we want to step up, where, some of us need to be those leaders. We need to be who we are waiting for. And then the other thing I will stress upon again is that we have to be accountable, and we also have to be very clear about our ideas. We have to be very clear about the policy positions that we want. And actually, I am of the opinion that we do need lofty ideas, because we should aim for the stars. Even if we hit the moon, then so be it. But we should shoot high, absolutely, because Kenyans deserve it. The Kenyan economy is really running. The expenditure, the cost of living, everything is not different than many Western countries, or at the very least European, even if it's European countries and Asian countries. Our economy is really, really running on high amounts of money that should be doing a lot more for our country. But we do have to be accountable. We do have to ask more of ourselves. We do have to inform. We do have to ask more of ourselves. We do have to inform ourselves, and we do have to actually pick on our.
Malia, can you hear me? Okay, let's go to Dr. Kimani. Dr. Kimani, your closing statement before we
Yeah,
cycle to Milton.
Asante sana, Abdi and Hillary there. So I think as we come to the top of the hour, I think we have an agreement that recall is not an option now. It is the only thing that we have on the table as of now. And this is because our members of parliament have proved to be quite incompetent in whatever they do. They do not know how to register it, to oversight, and to they cannot represent. That's because whatever they're representing does not seem to be going according to our needs. And as I said, and I have always said, being, the aspirant gubernatorial candidate for Nyandarua County, time has come, to be honest. And as I said, and I will continue saying, we have to hold people into account and be able to answer and ask those very serious questions. The things that have happened in Kenya must not be repeated by the generations that we are going to give birth to, or the generations thereafter. I know each generation has got their own struggle, but we must is coming after us. In that case, we must do the right thing. And the right thing is by scrutinizing and making sure that responsible people who have got Kenya at heart, have got the leadership positions in that country. And that is yours, truly, Kimani, the gubernatorial candidate for Nyandarua counties. Thank you so much, Abdi and Hilary, and all the speakers as well and listeners.
Asante sana, asante sana. Always good to have emerging leaders. We also have Governor Kiambu, an emerging leader, Boni there. You as the Governor Nyandarua, and then a brief scoop here we go. Thank you. I think it's good always to step up. Malia, over to you. Are you hearing me,
Yes, I
Malia?
can hear you.
Okay,
I
go
can hear
ahead.
you.
What's your final thought?
Yeah, as I've said, let's be more proactive, let's be more organized. Even as we are coming closer to the due date for elections, we want candidates who don't see us as the people who they give handouts and therefore feel the entitlement to misuse our money. They're going to be people who are just of not of big means, So we're gonna have to support them, and supporting is not only financial. We're gonna need to support them with our skills, and this needs a lot of organization. So that if you are going to put across or nominate somebody to go for that seat, that top seat, we need to rally around the person in our various professions. So we just need to be organized, because our country, the positive thing that has happened since June 2024 is that we have moved towards higher levels of citizen participation. We now want to own our country. We don't want our country to just be left to some few people who can mismanage. We all want to be involved in taking our nation to the next level. So I think what I can ask my fellow Kenyans is that let's come up. I'm sure each and every one of us, there's something which we have to offer. There's a skill that we can offer which can be able to make our dream to have good leaders come true. Thank you very much.
Asante sana, asante sana. Dr. Milton, 2 minutes. Your final thought, Dr. Milton?
I'll probably take less than that. I think I have elucidated my point in the last statement that I made. All I want to ask for is for consistency, confidence in what we are asking for, and each one of us to be the ambassador of the message that we want our people to believe in. And more importantly, we must be able to resist the intimidation and blackmail of bastardizing our voices. We have to be very, very steadfast. We have to tell them off, and we have to refuse to be bullied, because that is the new idea that we this, they become spiritual. And the spiritual aspect is what you're seeing from William Ruto now saying they want to build a church. So we need to call evil for what it is. It is okay to call him Kasongo, to call him Zakayo, to call him all these other names. But I think at the end of the day, for us to connect with destiny from a spiritual perspective, we need to call him by his name, William Ruto. And that is very important. And as we do that, the overriding principle and fact is that William Ruto is not just William Ruto, the individual or the person, is everything that he represents, which is lawlessness, impunity, corruption, bad governance, and social injustice. That is what he represents. And when we say one term, when we say William Ruto must go, that is what we mean. That is not just the person, it is everybody else and everything else that comes with his philosophy or lack of it from a governance perspective or point of view, as it were. That is all I want to say. Let's keep engaging. We look forward. We will let you know when we have the opportunity to sit down with Wamunyoro, and we will ask whether he can join this space next week on Sunday, because I know people have questions to ask, so that we have an opportunity to engage and interact with him collegiate, as opposed to when I mean, I would be speaking, I will try to ask all your questions as you send them to me when the opportunity comes. But I think it is only fair that we get them to come and speak. Uh, Thank you, Hillary. Thank you, Abdi. Thank you, fellow Kenyans, for listening. And as we say, a luta continua. We have to continue liberation struggle and viva.
Thank you, Dr. Mittal. Thank you, fellow citizens, for showing up tonight, not just with your voices, but with your truth, your pain, and unwavering resolve. What we have had tonight is not just an outrage; it's a nation waking up, a people reclaiming their power. We are not powerless. We are not voiceless. We are not certainly not hopeless. We have been lied to, exploited, pushed to the edge, but we are still here, still standing, still rising. The filing of a recall petition is not the end, it's just the beginning. It's our declaration that we will no longer tolerate betrayal in silence, that we will use every constitutional tool available to us, that we are organized, principled, and relentless. Let this moment mark the turning point of the tides, from the fear to courage, from silence to resistance, from survival to real transformation. And to the powers that be, let this echo in your corridors of comfort. The people are not afraid. We are awake. We are united. We are done watching your plunder. And what belongs to us belongs to us. And we leave this space not with despair, but with determination, because Kenya is worth fighting for. Because justice is not a request, it's a right. And because history is watching, will not be found wanting. Until next Saturday, stay loud, stay brave, stay mobilized. The revolution is ours to finish. Thank you. Good night. Viva. Over to you, Hillary. Hillary, I think we lost Hillary. Okay, so I would say everybody can leave at his own pleasure, and then,
Yes,
yeah.
Abdi, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I thank you guys for joining again.